Imagine this above you. The night sky glows with its quiet silver companion, a face you've seen countless times before, steady, soft, eternal. But what if I told you that even this calm presence is not fixed in place? What if the moon, the same moon that lights your evenings, is slowly drifting away inch by inch, like a gentle goodbye stretched over billions of years? Hey guys, tonight, we begin our journey into the world of moons, those mysterious companions that circle planets, shaping tides, painting skies, and whispering stories across time. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And if you'd like, share your location and local time in the comments below. I love to know where in the world you are listening from. Now if you're ready, let's begin. The moon, as familiar as it feels, is not as still as you imagine. Every single year it drifts about 1.5 inches farther away from Earth. It doesn't sound like much, barely the width of your thumb, but over millions of years this small, steady retreat reshapes the rhythm of our planet. Earth's spin slows its days, gradually lengthening, and the bond we share with our companion subtly loosens. Long ago, the moon hovered closer, looming larger in the sky, pulling tides, higher stirring oceans with greater force. Imagine standing beneath that ancient sky. Our ancestors would have seen a moon that filled the heavens brighter, heavier, a true guardian, glowing with intensity. And yet, with each passing moment, it slips away. This is not abandonment, but a dance of energy. Earth spins its oceans, rising and falling with the tides. Those tides push back, transferring energy outward, gifting it to the moon. With that gift, the moon moves farther slowly, silently, always outward. It is a cosmic exchange, an eternal trade between planet and satellite, one pulling at the seas, the other answering with distance. Think of it this way. When you see the waves roll in and out at the shore, you're watching the heartbeat of this exchange. The water moving the sands, shifting beneath your feet, all of it connected to the moon's tug. And in that tug, time itself stretches. Earth's days grow longer little by little. Long ago, when the Earth was young, a day may have lasted only 6 hours. Imagine how fast the sky would have spun then, sunrise to sunset, in the blink of a modern eye. But now, because of the moon, our days have stretched into the steady rhythm we know, and they will continue to grow longer as ages pass. The moon is more than a companion. It is a keeper of time. Without its influence, the tilt of Earth's axis would wobble wildly, our seasons shifting chaotically. Summers too fierce, winters too endless. Life as we know it might never have had the gentle stability it needed to thrive. The moon's quiet pull steadied our planet, turning chaos into balance, giving Earth a chance to grow gardens, oceans, forests, and all the beings that now dream beneath its light. And yet, even as it holds us steady, it is also slowly letting go. Billions of years into the future, Earth and Moon will no longer be bound in the same way. Days will stretch unimaginably long, and the Moon will sit farther from us, dimmer, smaller, no longer the same guardian we know today. The sky you see tonight is not the sky our ancestors saw, and it is not the sky our descendants will inherit. It is a moment in a story still unfolding. This gentle drift is so gradual that you will never feel it. You can watch the moon rise tomorrow night, and it will look unchanged. Its glow, its face, the craters that stare back at you, they will all be the same. And yet beneath that stillness, it moves. Perhaps that is the quiet beauty of it. Something so constant on the surface, yet always in motion. Just like you breathing gently as you drift into rest, the moon is breathing too, through tides and gravity shifting slowly with the ages. Scientists measure this drift with remarkable precision. In fact, during the Apollo missions, astronauts placed special mirrors on the moon's surface retroreflectors that still sit there today. From Earth, scientists aim lasers at them, beams of light racing across space, bouncing back and returning home. By measuring the time it takes for the light to return, we know the moon is moving away exactly 3.8 centimeters each year. Think of that, a whisper of distance, a fraction of your hand, measured across the vastness of space. And yet those centimeters accumulate. In 100 years, it's 4 meters. In 1,000,000 years, 40 kilometers. In billions of years, the change becomes staggering. Our planet and its companion will be different, their bond stretched thin. But even then, their story remains, one of connection of tides and gravity of two bodies, shaping each other endlessly. As you close your eyes, imagine the moon drifting outward, slowly, silently, as if carried by an invisible current. Imagine the earth below breathing in rhythm, the oceans swelling and falling, the days stretching just a little longer. You and I are living in the middle of this quiet exchange, a moment between what was and what will be. It is humbling and also comforting to know that even something as eternal as the moon is still changing, still evolving, still writing its story in the sky. So tonight, let your thoughts drift with it. Picture yourself as the moon floating gently, pulling away inch by inch, not in haste, not in fear, but in peace. There is no rush in the cosmos, no hurry in the rhythm of stars and moons. Everything moves at the pace of eternity. And in that slowness, there is rest. As you breathe, let the tides of your own body follow this rhythm. Inhale as the waves rise, exhale as they fall. Each breath is an orbit, a cycle, a gentle echo of the moon and earth's endless dance. You are part of this story, carried in the same fabric of time and gravity, connected to the seas, the tides, the skies, and the drifting silver companion above. When you look up at the moon, remember it is not fixed. It is gliding outward softly, endlessly whispering of change, and yet it still shines, still steadies. Our planet still watches over our nights. The drifting is not a loss, but a reminder. Nothing is still, nothing is permanent, and in that motion there is beauty. So let the moon's gentle drift carry you tonight. Let it remind you that life is always moving, even when it feels still. That change can be soft, unhurried, even comforting. And that just as the moon drifts through the sky, you too can drift into sleep, carried by forces older and gentler than you can imagine. Long before the moon became the silent, airless world we know today, it held something far more fragile, a breath of its own. Imagine gazing at the same pale face in the sky, but instead of emptiness, a thin veil of gas wrapped around it, drifting gently like a whisper. The moon, so often seen as barren and eternal, once exhaled into space. For tens of millions of years it wore an atmosphere light, but real, born from fire within. Billions of years ago, the moon's surface was alive with volcanic eruptions. Lava poured across its plains, fiery fountains, shooting molten rock into the black sky. Alongside the fire came gas, carbon monoxide, sulfur, water vapor. Enough of it for a while to create a blanket of air. It was not the thick atmosphere of Earth with clouds and storms, but a fragile one, shimmering, temporary. Imagine standing there looking across lava seas and feeling not the sharp silence of today, but the faint press of an alien wind. This atmosphere, however, could not last. The moon is small, its gravity weak. Just as a candle flame struggles against the wind, the gases slowly escaped into space, carried off by solar light and the pull of the void. Over millions of years, the veil thinned, stretched, and dissolved, until nothing remained but the silence we know. Yet even in its absence, the traces of that ancient breath linger. Some scientists believe that during this time the moon's atmosphere may have helped water molecules settle into its shadowed craters. In places where sunlight never touched, in the frozen darkness, at the poles tiny reserves of ice remain. They are fossils of a time when the moon breathed, when its surface exhaled fire and vapor, leaving behind a gift in the coldest corners. These icy fragments wait still untouched patient across billions of years like seeds held in the vault of space. When you look at the moon now, it feels eternal. The dark plains, the Maria lie quiet. The craters fixed the surface untouched by wind or rain. But beneath that quiet face lies a memory of change. Once it had fire, once it had breath, and in time the silence returned. The moon reminds us that nothing is truly still. Even the calmest presence hides stories of motion, eruption, and loss. Think of how we breathe. Each inhale fills the body, each exhale empties it. But in the rhythm of those breaths lies life itself. The moon, too, in its ancient way, had a rhythm. The inhale of volcanic eruptions, the exhale of gases into space. And though the breath ended, the story lingers. It is humbling to imagine the moon not as a frozen relic, but as a once-living stage of change. Picture the surface glowing red with lava plumes of gas stretching upward, a faint atmosphere hazy against the stars. Picture a world that exhaled, and then, as the fire cooled, fell silent. This is the paradox of the cosmos. What looks eternal is often the trace of transformation, and perhaps that is why the moon feels so comforting to us at night. It has lived through chaos, endured eruption, and returned to stillness. In its quiet presence, we sense resilience. Just as you, after a long day, inhale, exhale, and rest, the moon too has known both breath and silence. Tonight, as you close your eyes, imagine lying beneath that ancient sky. Above you glows the moon, but not the one you know. This moon wears a veil thin and shimmering, a fragile cloak of air around a fiery heart. Feel its breath on your skin, soft, fleeting, gone before you know it. And then, let it drift away, just as your own thoughts drift now. The moon exhales, you exhale. Both of you settle into quiet. Both of you find peace. Not every moon wears the perfect face of a sphere. Some drift through space in shapes that look almost playful, like toys forgotten in the cosmos. Imagine gazing up, and instead of round orbs, you see worlds shaped like potatoes, ravioli, or sponges tumbling softly in orbit around their planets. These are the small moons, fragile and irregular, carved by the limits of gravity. When a body is small, its gravity is too weak to pull it into a neat round form. Instead, it stays jagged, lumpy, uneven, an echo of the chaos that birthed it. Mars's little moon, Phobos, looks like a rough potato, its surface scarred with grooves and cracks. Saturn's moon, Pan, resembles a flying saucer, or even a piece of pasta, a strange bulge around its equator, formed by sweeping through Saturn's rings and collecting material. And Hyperion, another of Saturn's companions, spins unpredictably like a sponge tossed into the air, its porous body full of craters and cavities. These shapes are not mistakes, they are stories. They tell us that some moons were born from debris left behind after colossal impacts. Others were captured wanderers, asteroids, pulled in by the gravity of giant planets. They are fragments, survivors, reminders of the solar system's restless youth. Where the larger moons stand like planets in miniature, these little ones drift like broken pieces of a cosmic puzzle. Picture them floating in silence, jagged silhouettes against the darkness. They don't shine with the smooth serenity of larger companions. Instead, they look raw, unfinished, yet full of character. Some scientists describe them as rubble piles, clusters of loose rock held together by a fragile thread of gravity. Still, they endure, circling faithfully, shaping the spaces around them. It's almost charming to imagine these odd shapes as cosmic toys scattered across the universe. The giant planets are like parents gathering handfuls of broken playthings, keeping them close in orbit, while Ganymede, Titan, or Europa inspire awe with their grandeur. Moons like Phobos and Pan bring a smile. They remind us that the universe is not only majestic, but quirky, whimsical, full of surprises. And yet even the quirkiest shapes matter. Pan's odd ridge, sculpt Saturn's rings, keeping gaps clear and patterns sharp. Hyperion's chaotic spin teaches us about instability, about how gravity and shape can combine to create endless tumbling. Even the smallest moons leave fingerprints on the fabric of their systems, proving that no fragment is too small to have influence. When you think about these potato-shaped companions, let yourself imagine holding one in your hand, as though it were a stone picked up on a beach. Rough edges, uneven weight, strange curves. It may look humble, but it is billions of years old, a relic of collisions, captures, and time itself. As you breathe tonight, think of these irregular moons drifting endlessly. They don't strive to be perfect spheres. They simply exist as they are shaped by circumstance, carried by gravity. In their oddity lies beauty, in their imperfection peace. You too can rest without the need to be perfectly shaped, knowing that even lumpy moons have a place in the cosmic dance. So let your thoughts tumble with them. Potatoes, ravioli, sponges of stone quirky companions circling silently through the dark. They are small, they are strange, and they are proof that the universe holds wonder not only in grandeur, but in the tiniest, most irregular shapes. Beneath the frozen crust of Europa lies something extraordinary, a hidden ocean, vast and deep, perhaps larger than all the seas on Earth combined. Imagine gazing at this distant world from afar. Its surface looks quiet, pale, streaked with lines of ice, but beneath that thin skin lies a restless sea stretching across the entire globe. Europa, a moon of Jupiter, may be one of the most promising places for life beyond Earth. The ocean is kept liquid, not by sunlight, but by the invisible hands of gravity. Jupiter's immense pull stretches and squeezes Europa constantly, like a ball in an endless grip. This friction generates heat deep inside, warming the waters beneath miles of ice. What should have been a frozen, solid world is instead a living ocean wrapped in silence. The surface tells us hints of what lies below. Cracks and ridges carve across the ice marks of shifting and refreezing. Sometimes plumes of water may burst through, rising into space like geysers. Spacecraft have glimpsed faint signs of these sprays, fleeting, shimmering, gone before the eye can hold them. Each eruption is a whisper from the ocean, beneath a reminder that something alive in motion hides under the frozen mask. Scientists dream of what the seafloor might hold. On Earth, in the darkest depths, hydrothermal vents glow with heat and minerals, cradles where strange forms of life thrive without sunlight. Perhaps beneath Europa's crust, similar vents pour warmth into the sea, mixing chemicals that could give rise to living cells. It is a haunting thought that far from the sun, in a world of ice, a secret biology might be unfolding quietly unseen. Europa's ocean is more than water, it is possibility. To stand on the surface would be to stand above a hidden world, a vast, unseen sea stretching below your feet. Each crack in the ice might be a doorway to mystery, each ridge a ripple of activity beneath. It is as though the moon carries a secret heart, beating slowly, waiting for someone to listen. And yet there is peace in its silence. Europa does not roar with volcanoes like Io or erupt with fire. Instead, it hums quietly, carrying its ocean through eons of time. When you look at its face through a telescope, those faint lines are not just scars, but gentle reminders. Even in the coldest places, warmth may linger. Even in silence, life may stir. As you rest tonight, imagine lying on Europa's frozen surface. Above you, Jupiter looms vast, a striped giant glowing softly. Beneath you, an ocean whispers deeper and wider than anything you've ever known. It is dark, but not empty. It is cold, but not lifeless. Between the ice and the sea lies a promise, a possibility waiting in stillness. So let your thoughts drift there, floating beneath the ice, carried by currents in a sea untouched by sunlight. Picture yourself as a tiny drop of water in that vast ocean, timeless patient, cradled in silence. In Europa's secret heart, you find not fear, but calm, not emptiness, but wonder. And as you breathe slowly, you realize that even in hidden places beauty waits. Far from Earth, shrouded in an orange haze, Saturn's largest moon, Titan, hides a world that feels strangely familiar and yet profoundly alien. Imagine standing there, the sky dim, thick with smog, the horizon blurred by mist, and all around you lakes and seas stretching across the land. But these are not oceans of water. Titan's rivers, lakes, and seas are filled with liquid methane and ethane-cold hydrocarbons, flowing where water would freeze solid. It is the only place beyond Earth where we have found stable bodies of liquid on the surface. Rain falls from the sky, not of water, but of methane. Clouds gather storms, brew rivers, carve valleys, and seas ripple in alien winds. The entire cycle mirrors Earth's hydrological rhythm, but with chemistry transformed. Imagine watching a methane raindrop slide across your hand, clear and cold, falling beneath a hazy orange sky. Titan is a paradox so familiar in shape, yet so foreign in substance. Its rivers twist and turn, its lakes glimmer softly, and its seas stretch vast and deep. The largest Kraken mare could swallow all of Earth's great lakes combined. Standing on its shore would feel eerie, like looking across a calm, endless sea that mirrors our own, but is utterly unlike it. And Titan's skies hold more than beauty. Its thick nitrogen atmosphere, denser than Earth's, presses down, offering protection from harsh cosmic radiation. Within that, shelter organic molecules form and drift hints of chemistry that may resemble the conditions of early Earth. Billions of years ago, before life began here, our atmosphere might have carried the same complex haze, rich with possibilities. Titan, in this way, may be a frozen echo of our own beginning. Scientists dream of sending a probe to sail across Kraken Mare, to float on those dark, cold waves, and taste the chemistry of another world. They wonder if beneath the methane seas, or within Titan's buried ocean of water hidden beneath the crust, life might find a way. Perhaps not life as we know it, but something new, something shaped by methane and cold. A reminder that biology does not always follow Earth's script. As you picture Titan, let the thought soothe you. It is a world where rain falls in silence, where rivers flow slowly across frozen plains, where seas gleam faintly under a smog-dimmed sky. It is both strange and comforting, a reminder that nature writes poetry in many languages, not just the one we know. Tonight, imagine walking along Titan's shore. The air is heavy, the light dim, and the sea before you is not water, but liquid methane, lapping softly against icy ground. You feel small but calm, standing in the hush of an alien world. The quiet is immense, the peace undeniable. Titan whispers that life may take many forms, that the universe holds endless variations, each with its own rhythm. And as you breathe, let yourself fall into Titan's rhythm. Each inhale like the slow gathering of clouds, each exhale like the gentle fall of methane rain. You are standing not just on another moon, but on a mirror of Earth's memory, a place where the seeds of life may still linger, waiting in the silence. Tiny, icy, and often overlooked Enceladus, one of Saturn's many moons, is a world that sparkles in silence. At only about 300 miles across, it might seem too small to hold much wonder, and yet Enceladus surprises us all. Beneath its frozen shell, an ocean slumbers, and from cracks near its south pole shimmering plumes burst forth into space. Imagine standing at the edge of those fissures, the surface glowing faintly with icy light, as jets of water vapor and ice crystals rise like fountains into the stars. These geysers are not gentle sprays. They erupt with force, flinging particles hundreds of miles above the surface. From afar, spacecraft captured their glimmer arcs of ice, sparkling like frozen fireworks in the vacuum. The Cassini probe flew directly through these plumes, tasting them with its instruments. It found not only water, but also salts, organic molecules, and traces of the chemistry needed for life. Enceladus, small as it is, carries within it the echoes of oceans and the possibility of living worlds. The cracks that release these plumes are called tiger stripes, long dark fissures that run parallel near the Moon's south pole. They are warmer than the surrounding ice, evidence that tidal forces from Saturn's pull keep Enceladus alive inside. As the Moon is stretched and squeezed in orbit, its inner ocean churns with energy pushing outward until it escapes into space. What should be a frozen dead world is instead a restless body whispering its secrets into the cosmos. And these whispers leave traces far beyond Enceladus itself. The constant spray of water and ice replenishes Saturn's E-ring, a delicate halo of particles encircling the planet. Every shining speck in that ring might once have been part of Enceladus's hidden ocean, lifted from the depths, scattered into orbit, and lit by sunlight. It is a reminder that even the smallest worlds can shape giants, that even tiny voices can leave vast echoes. Scientists believe Enceladus may host hydrothermal vents on its ocean floor, places where heat and minerals rise, creating cradles of possibility. On Earth, such vents teem with life thriving in darkness without sunlight. Perhaps in Enceladus's hidden waters, similar chemistry stirs waiting in silence. Perhaps microbial life drifts in the depths unnoticed, unmeasured yet alive. If life exists anywhere beyond Earth, Enceladus may be one of its most likely homes. Close your eyes and picture it, a frozen crust stretching before you, the South Pole split by glowing cracks. From them, columns of mist rise high, glittering against the black sky. They drift, they fall, they shimmer, some never returning, some captured forever in Saturn's rings. The air is silent, the only sound is the hush of your breath, and yet around you the universe speaks through water and ice. There is a kind of comfort in Enceladus. It is small, fragile, easily overlooked compared to grander moons. But inside, it hides an ocean larger than imagination, and above it dances a show of geysers that sparkle like diamonds in the dark. Even the tiniest world can hold wonders. Even the quietest presence can hold a secret heart. As you rest tonight, let your mind drift with those plumes. Imagine yourself as a particle of ice, carried upward, shining briefly in the light, before falling back to the surface, or perhaps caught forever in Saturn's rings, circling endlessly, glowing softly in reflected light. There is no rush, no fear, only movement, only rhythm, only the eternal dance of water and gravity. Enceladus teaches us that beauty does not depend on size. A moon so small it could be forgotten is instead unforgettable. It reminds us that life's potential may hide in the most unexpected places, and that even in the coldest reaches of the solar system, warmth and wonder still rise. So let yourself drift with Enceladus tonight. Let your thoughts flow like its plumes, rising and falling, scattering and returning, gentle as breath. You are part of the same cosmos, connected by water, by motion, by silence. And in that connection, you can rest. If Enceladus is a world of ice and gentle plumes, then Io is its fiery opposite, a restless furnace orbiting Jupiter, where the surface never stays the same. Imagine looking down at this strange moon. Everywhere you turn, rivers of molten rock spill across plains, volcanoes erupt with fountains of lava, and mountains rise only to be torn apart again. Io is alive with fire, the most volcanically active body in the solar system. Its constant eruptions are fueled by a relentless tug of war. Io is trapped between Jupiter's massive gravity and the pulls of neighboring moons like Europa and Ganymede. As it is stretched and squeezed, the friction inside generates staggering heat. This heat forces molten rock upward, breaking through the crust again and again. The result is a surface covered with hundreds of volcanoes, some erupting lava fountains that rise taller than Mount Everest, glowing red against the black sky. No two views of Io are ever the same. With each eruption, new plains are formed, old landscapes, buried mountains reshaped. To step onto its surface, if you could survive the radiation, the thin, poisonous atmosphere, and the searing heat would be to stand on a world forever remade. The ground beneath your feet would not be stable. It would shift, flow, and tremble alive with molten energy. From afar, Io is dazzling. Spacecraft have captured images of its glowing lava lakes, some stretching hundreds of miles across. Plumes of sulfur and ash rise into space, painting its atmosphere with colors unseen on Earth. Yellows, reds, blacks, and greens stain the surface like the palette of a cosmic artist. Even in silence, it feels loud, an entire world roaring with fire. And yet within this chaos lies rhythm. Io's eruptions are not random. They are the result of tidal heating, a balance of gravity and motion that keeps the moon alive. Without Jupiter's immense pull, Io might have been frozen long ago, quiet like so many others. Instead, it burns endlessly, a world kept awake by the embrace of giants. Some scientists believe that Io's fiery surface may offer clues about Earth's own past. Long ago, our planet too was covered in oceans of lava, reshaped constantly by eruptions and impacts. Io is like a living window into that ancient time, a reminder of how worlds begin in fire before they cool into places where life can grow. As you picture Io, let yourself imagine standing far above it, safe in orbit, looking down at a restless painting of light. Lava glows like rivers of fire, plumes rise like smoke, signals, mountains, crumble and reform. It is violent, but from a distance, it feels strangely peaceful, like watching a campfire in the night, dangerous if touched, but calming when seen from afar. And as you breathe, think of the fire inside you. Just as Io carries heat within, reshaping its body again and again, you too carry energy. Life is fire, contained warmth held steady. The universe reminds us that chaos and creation are linked, that even in destruction beauty emerges. Io burns, and in that burning, it becomes a beacon, a jewel of fire in Jupiter's orbit. So tonight, let Io's fire warm your imagination. Picture yourself drifting above it, safe and calm, watching fountains of lava sparkle in silence. Let the glow of molten rivers soothe you, their rhythm steady, their light timeless. You are not in the chaos, you are in the quiet beyond, watching the universe paint in fire. Among all the moons that circle our planets, one stands apart not only in size but also in spirit. Ganymede, Jupiter's largest moon, is so vast that if it orbited the Sun directly, we might have called it a planet. It is bigger than Mercury, bigger than Pluto, a true giant disguised as a satellite, and yet despite its colossal scale, it drifts quietly through space, carrying secrets that blur the line between moon and world. Imagine looking at Ganymede through a telescope. Its surface glows pale, scarred by craters, and etched with long, mysterious grooves that stretch for hundreds of miles. Some regions gleam bright, others dark, as though the moon carries two histories at once, one old and battered, the other young and reshaped. But what lies beneath is even more astonishing. Scientists believe Ganymede hides not one, but several oceans layered like a cosmic sandwich. Ice, water, ice, again stacked deep within. An architecture of liquid and solid that stretches farther than imagination, a frozen cathedral of hidden seas. And then there is its heart. Unlike most moons, Ganymede has a molten metallic core. That core stirs, spins, and generates something rare, a magnetic field of its own. Even Mercury, a planet, cannot claim this distinction. Ganymede alone carries a miniature magnetosphere, a bubble of invisible force that shields it from Jupiter's stormy radiation. Within that shield, auroras shimmer glowing curtains of light that dance across its poles, proof that the moon is not silent, but alive with unseen energy. Standing on Ganymede, if it were possible, would feel surreal. The horizon would curve, with a vastness like Earth's, the ground icy but ancient, and above you, Jupiter would dominate the sky, its stripes and storms glowing like a world within reach. Around you, the air would be thin, nearly absent, but the silence would carry a presence, the presence of a world too large, to be called a moon, too strange, to be fully a planet. Ganymede is more than size. It is complexity. It has geology, magnetism, oceans, and history. It is a reminder that moons are not mere companions. They can be worlds in their own right, with features that rival the planets themselves. In Ganymede's grooves, scientists see tectonic shifts, evidence that the crust once moved like plates drifting on an inner sea. In its frozen plains, they see scars of ancient impacts billions of years old. And in its magnetism, they glimpse a beating metallic heart, still warm, still alive. It is humbling to realize that something so grand drifts quietly hidden in plain sight. From Earth, we see only a point of light, one among many. But up close, Ganymede is immense, powerful, complex. Its silence masks its scale. Its modest glow hides its might. As you breathe tonight, picture Ganymede turning slowly in Jupiter's orbit. Imagine its magnetic field humming invisibly, its oceans shifting layer upon layer, its surface glimmering with faint auroras. Think of it as a planet that chose humility, a world that carries greatness quietly. And perhaps that is Ganymede's lesson. Not every giant announces itself with noise. Some move silently, carrying oceans within, holding their secrets in calm strength. You too can carry vastness inside oceans of thought, of memory, of possibility, without needing to display them. Strength can be quiet. Grandeur can be humble. So let your thoughts orbit gently tonight, circling Ganymede in silence. You are safe in its presence, cradled in its magnetic shield, drifting above hidden seas. Let that thought soothe you that even in the farthest reaches of space, greatness is possible in silence, and beauty is found in worlds that seem at first glance only a moon. When you look up at the moon glowing softly above the horizon, it feels like a quiet companion, a lantern in the night sky. But the truth is deeper. Our moon is not just a companion, it is a guardian. Without it, Earth would be a different world, unstable, chaotic, perhaps even inhospitable to life as we know it. The moon, in its silence, has shaped the story of our planet. One of the moon's most important roles is stabilizing Earth's tilt. Our planet leans on its axis at about 23.5 degrees, a tilt that creates the familiar rhythm of seasons. Winter, spring, summer, autumn, all born from that steady angle. Without the moon's gravitational pull, this tilt could wobble unpredictably. Mars, which lacks a large moon, has experienced swings of tilt so extreme that its poles once thawed while its equator froze. If Earth had endured the same fate, ice ages and scorching summers would have cycled wildly, giving little chance for stable ecosystems to thrive. Instead, the moon's presence steadied us, calming the wobble, keeping Earth's climate within a life-friendly range. The moon also guides the oceans. Its gravity pulls at the seas, raising tides that sweep across shorelines twice each day. To us, tides are gentle, a rhythm we barely notice unless we live by the coast. But long ago, those tides may have nurtured the chemistry of life itself. In shallow pools, waters stirred and receded, concentrating molecules, giving them the chance to bond and spark the first whispers of biology. Without the moon's pull, perhaps those conditions would never have arisen. Even now, the tides continue their work. They shape coastlines, feed estuaries, and drive currents that help regulate Earth's climate. Each wave that curls upon the shore is a reminder of the moon's touch, as if our guardian reaches out across space to stir our oceans gently, endlessly, with invisible hands. And then there is the matter of protection. The moon bears the scars of countless impacts, craters upon craters, a record of billions of years of collisions. Many of those impacts might otherwise have struck Earth. By standing in orbit, the moon serves as a shield, intercepting or deflecting objects, reducing the number of blows our fragile world has endured. Its cratered face is not only a record of its own history, but also a testament to the danger it absorbed on our behalf. Think of it above us, hangs a silent protector, one that steadies our tilt, stirs our oceans, shields us from the worst of the cosmic storm, and lights our nights. We often take it for granted, but without the moon, Earth might not be the blue home we know. Perhaps life would have struggled, perhaps it would never have begun. The moon's influence is written into the very fabric of our existence. As you breathe tonight, imagine Earth without its guardian. The sky wobbles with seasons gone mad. Tides vanish into still waters. The planet trembles with chaos. And then imagine it again, with the moon's steady tilt, rhythmic tides, a silver shield above. That is the world you live in, the one gifted to you by the moon's presence. The moon does not boast of its guardianship. It shines quietly, night after night, asking nothing, offering everything. It is a reminder that protection can be gentle influence, can be unseen, and true guardianship often works in silence. So tonight, let yourself rest beneath your guardian. Look up at the moon or picture it in your mind and feel its calm steadiness wash over you. Just as it steadied Earth, let it steady your thoughts. Just as it shapes the tides, let it shape your breath in and out, rise and fall, like waves upon the shore. You are safe under its watch. You are carried by its rhythm. You are cradled by its light. The moon's calm glow might seem eternal, but its origin was anything but peaceful. Our quiet companion was born out of chaos, out of fire collision and destruction on a planetary scale. About 4.5 billion years ago, Earth was young, still forming its surface molten and unstable. Then came a violent visitor, a Mars-sized body nicknamed Theia, hurtling through space on a path that would change our world forever. When Theia struck, the impact was unimaginably powerful. Rock vaporized instantly. Oceans of magma boiled. A spray of molten debris shot into orbit, glowing red and white against the blackness of space. For a time, Earth itself may have worn a halo of fire, a ring of molten rock circling above its surface. That ring of fragments, chaotic and brilliant, slowly began to gather, pulled together by gravity. Over countless orbits, it coalesced into a single body, the moon. What seems so serene today was born from one of the most catastrophic events in planetary history. And the Earth was changed as well. The impact may have tilted our planet's axis, giving us the seasons that govern life's rhythm. The chemistry of both Earth and Moon carries the same signature, as if they were forged from the same material siblings born of the same explosion. To look at the Moon now is to see a scar made solid, a reminder etched forever in the sky. Imagine the view from the surface of that young Earth. Above you not one but two glowing bodies, a shattered Earth and a newborn Moon still molten glowing like a red lantern in the night. The heat would have been overwhelming, the skies filled with ash, the ground trembling with aftershocks. Yet, out of that devastation a companion was forged. Destruction became creation. From chaos came a partnership that would last billions of years. The Moon's birth teaches us something profound, that endings and beginnings are often the same event. What was a violent end for Theia was the beginning of a new world for Earth. Out of collision came stability. Out of fire came balance. It is easy to forget when you see the gentle glow of moonlight on a calm night, that it is the light of survival, the light of a world remade. As you rest tonight, think of your own transformations. Times when chaos reshaped you, when collisions in your life tore things apart, only to leave behind something new. The moon is a mirror of that truth. It is proof that even the most violent upheavals can give rise to enduring beauty, that even in destruction creation waits. Close your eyes and imagine Earth and Moon in their first embrace, the planet scarred, but still turning the moon fresh and glowing, circling closer than it does now. The tides surged higher, the days spun faster, and together they began their dance, a dance that continues still written into every wave and every night sky. So when you see the moon tonight, know that you are looking at the product of catastrophe softened by time into calmness. You are watching a survivor, a child of fire who became a guardian of stability. And let that knowledge comfort you, that chaos need not be the end, that even the harshest collisions can leave behind light. From Earth, we always see the same familiar face of the moon, the one marked with dark Maria and pale highlands, the man in the moon etched in craters and plains. But what about the side we never see? The far side of the moon remained hidden from human eyes for all of history, until spacecraft finally revealed it in the 20th century. And when those first images returned, they showed a world so different it felt like a second moon had been discovered. The near side, the face we know, is dotted with broad, dark plains, formed by ancient lava flows. These Maria give the moon its distinctive patterns, smooth and shadowed, almost calm compared to the rugged craters around them. But the far side tells another story. There almost no lava plains appear. Instead, the surface is covered in jagged highlands, bristling with craters stacked upon craters untouched by the flows that softened the near side. It looks older, harsher, more scarred, a face that endured without the mask of molten seas. Why the difference, scientists believe, it is because of how the moon formed and cooled. Early in its history, uneven heating caused lava to fill only the near side, smoothing it over. The far side remained colder, higher, less forgiving. For billions of years, impacts carved into that hard crust, leaving scars that linger still. To look upon it is to look back in time at a record of cosmic collisions preserved in silence. Imagine standing on the far side. The horizon is rough, with cliffs and craters' shadows stretching long across rugged ridges. Above you, instead of Earth hanging bright in the sky, you would see only the stars. Earth never rises there. It is a place cut off, facing away, forever locked in tidal embrace. From that lonely vantage, the universe looks wider, emptier, filled with distant suns. And yet the far side is not just mystery, it is potential. Scientists dream of building observatories there, shielded from Earth's radio signals. A telescope on the far side could gaze deeper into space than any on our planet, free from interference, bathed in silence. In that hidden face may lie the key to listening to the faintest whispers of the cosmos. The discovery of the far side also reminds us of perspective. For millennia, humans thought the moon was a single face, fixed and unchanging. Only with exploration did we learn that what we see is not the whole story. There is always another side, unseen but just as real. The same is true for people, for lives, for the world around us. What you see at first is only one face. The other side, hidden, may be entirely different. As you breathe tonight, imagine drifting slowly over the moon's edge, crossing from the familiar face into the unknown. Picture the rugged highlands unfolding below you, craters, like frozen seas of stone ridges casting long shadows in the dim sunlight. There is no earth above you, only silence, only stars. And in that silence, you feel not fear, but wonder. You are standing at the threshold of mystery, where the unseen becomes seen. The far side of the moon is not sinister or threatening. It is simply hidden, waiting, holding its stories in quiet patience. And as you close your eyes, let that thought soothe you, that there are always hidden sides not to frighten us, but to remind us that mystery is part of life. Not everything must be known at once. Some things wait silent and steady until we are ready to see them. So tonight, rest as though you are on the far side, shielded from noise, facing only the stars wrapped in silence. Let that hidden face cradle your thoughts. Let it remind you that the unknown can be peaceful, and that sometimes what we do not see can be just as beautiful as what we do. Far out in the realm of Neptune, circling a world of deep blue storms, drifts a moon unlike any other. Triton, Neptune's largest companion, does not follow the usual rules of orbit. Instead of circling in the same direction as its planets spin, it moves backward, a strange and rebellious motion called retrograde. It is as if Triton is dancing against the flow, moving upstream in the current of gravity. This alone makes it unique among the large moons of the solar system. The backward path tells a story. Most moons are born with their planets forming from the same swirling disks of dust and gas, but Triton was different. Scientists believe it was once a dwarf planet wandering the outer reaches of the Kuiper Belt. Somewhere in its ancient journey, Neptune's immense gravity captured it. The capture would not have been gentle. It may have disrupted or even destroyed Neptune's earlier moons, scattering them into space. What remains is Triton circling defiantly, proof that the solar system is built as much on chance encounters as on order. Triton is more than its orbit. Its surface is made of nitrogen, ice pale and smooth, unlike the cratered faces of most moons. Voyager 2, the only spacecraft ever to visit Neptune, revealed geysers on Triton's surface, plumes of nitrogen gas shooting miles high into the sky, leaving dark streaks across the ice. Even so far from the sun, so deep in the cold, Triton is alive with activity. Its smooth terrain suggests constant renewal, as though the surface is polished by invisible hands. Imagine standing there, if such a thing were possible. The ground beneath you would be frozen nitrogen, soft underfoot compared to rock. The horizon would stretch wide, lit faintly by sunlight dimmed by distance. Above Neptune would loom immense its atmosphere, swirling with storms, a planet so large it fills the sky. Around you, geysers hiss, quietly releasing gas that shimmers before vanishing into the thin air. The silence would be profound, yet alive with subtle energy. Triton's future is as dramatic as its past. Slowly, Neptune's gravity pulls it inward, dragging it closer and closer. One day, millions of years from now, it may cross the critical boundary where tidal forces become too strong. At that point, Triton could shatter, torn apart into a magnificent ring circling Neptune in a halo of ice. What is now a moon may become a crown, transforming again in the endless cycle of cosmic change. There is something poetic in Triton's journey. It began as a wanderer captured into orbit, moving backward, ever since a reminder that not all paths follow the same direction. And even as it faces a future of destruction, it carries beauty fountains of gas, a smooth, icy face, and the silent defiance of its retrograde dance. As you rest tonight, think of Triton drifting against the flow. Picture it moving backward, around Neptune, quietly resisting the current, patient in its rebellion. Let it remind you that sometimes life does not follow the expected path. Sometimes we too orbit in our own way, moving differently, and that difference can be beautiful. Close your eyes and imagine yourself on Triton, standing in the thin air as a geyser erupts nearby, scattering crystals that glint faintly before they fade. Above you, Neptune glows vast and serene, holding you in its orbit. You feel the pull of gravity, the hush of distance, and the peace of being carried. Triton whispers that even those who move against the current belong to the dance. Its backward orbit is not chaos. It is harmony of another kind, a quiet defiance woven into the cosmic rhythm. And just as it moves in silence, so can you drift tonight in your own rhythm, in your own peace. Moons often seem timeless, circling their planets in steady, endless loops. Yet not all moons are destined to survive. Some live precariously close to their planets, stretched by gravity, pulled at from within, slowly creeping toward destruction. And when they cross a certain threshold, called the Roche limit, they may be torn apart entirely. From that destruction comes something new. A ring of shimmering debris, a halo of fragments that continues the moon's story in a different form. Mars's small moon Phobos is one of these doomed companions. With every orbit, it spirals a little closer to Mars, only a few feet each century, but the end is inevitable. In about 50 million years, gravity will break it apart, scattering rubble into orbit, painting a faint ring around the red planet. Today, Phobos is already showing cracks and grooves, scars of the stress tearing it slowly from the inside. It is a moon in the process of unraveling, a quiet reminder that even orbits are not eternal. This transformation from moon to ring has happened before. Saturn's majestic rings may themselves be the remnants of a moon, shattered long ago, torn into icy shards by the planet's relentless gravity. What we see today as beauty, a vast crown of shimmering arcs and bands, may be the grave of a world that once orbited whole. From destruction came elegance, from collapse came radiance. The link between moons and rings is closer than it appears. Sometimes rings coalesce into moons' particles gathering and merging until they form small companions. Other times, moons wander too close and are broken down into rings. It is a cycle, a rhythm of creation and destruction, fragile yet enduring. Moons and rings are not separate but part of the same cosmic story trading forms across time. Imagine witnessing the moment of transformation. A moon edges too close, its surface trembling under tidal forces. Cracks spread across its body pieces, lift away, and slowly it dissolves into countless fragments. What was once a single solid world becomes millions of icy particles circling together in a graceful band. From afar it looks like loss, but up close it is creation, a new structure, a new beauty, born from the death of a moon. There is something deeply soothing in this cycle. Nothing is wasted. Even when a moon shatters, its pieces continue forming rings that shine across the sky, sculpted by light and shadow. It is a reminder that endings are not final, that change reshapes but does not erase. The universe recycles its stories, turning moons into rings, and perhaps one day rings into moons again. As you breathe tonight, imagine yourself as part of that cycle. Picture drifting as a moon whole and solid circling quietly. Then, imagine dissolving, breaking into pieces, scattering gently until you are part of a luminous ring around a planet. You are no less beautiful. You are simply changed, transformed into something new. Moons that break into rings remind us of fragility but also resilience. Even in breaking, they create wonder. Even in loss, they give rise to beauty. As Phobos drifts toward its fate, as ancient moons gave Saturn its crown, we see the poetry of endings that are also beginnings. So let the thought soothe you tonight, that nothing truly vanishes. Everything shifts, everything transforms, and in those transformations, beauty blooms. Just as moons become rings, you too can let go of old forms and find peace in new ones. Far beyond the familiar orbits of the giant planets lies a frozen world, small, yet captivating Pluto. But Pluto is not truly alone. Circling it is Charon, a moon so large compared to its planet that the two form something rare, a double dwarf planet system. Unlike Earth and its moon, where the smaller body clearly orbits the larger Pluto and Charon move together around a shared point in space, a barycenter that lies outside of Pluto itself. It is less like master and companion, and more like two dancers locked in step, turning endlessly in the dark. Charon is about half the size of Pluto a massive partner in this cosmic waltz. Its surface is scarred with cliffs and canyons, some of the deepest in the solar system. A vast chasm, wider than the Grand Canyon, and many times deeper, stretches across its face, as if the moon itself cracked open in its youth. In contrast, Pluto wears plains of frozen nitrogen mountains of ice, and a heart-shaped region that glows softly in images sent back by spacecraft. Together, these two bodies create a duet of contrasts, one bright, one darker, one smooth in places, the other fractured and scarred. Their relationship is locked in perfect rhythm. Charon always shows the same face to Pluto, and Pluto always shows the same face to Charon. Unlike our moon, which reveals only one side to Earth, Pluto itself is tidally bound as well. To an observer on Pluto, Charon would never rise or set but hang in the same place in the sky, a permanent companion. To someone on Charon, Pluto would dominate the heavens, filling the horizon with its pale glow, unmoving, eternal. The bond between Pluto and Charon blurs boundaries. Is Charon a moon, or is it something more? Many astronomers argue that together they should be called a binary planet system. In their equal dance, they remind us that definitions in science, like in life, are sometimes flexible. Labels may change, but the reality of their connection is undeniable. They orbit each other, partners in balance, their fates intertwined. Imagine drifting above this duet, watching as they circle a point in empty space, two frozen spheres moving in harmony. There is no sound, only the slow, patient rhythm of their motion. They do not rush, they do not stumble. They dance endlessly, carrying their scars and beauty together, two wanderers bound in companionship. There is comfort in this vision. In the coldest, loneliest reaches of the solar system, even here there is partnership. Even at the edge of the sun's light, worlds travel not alone, but with companions. Pluto and Charon whisper that even in isolation there can be connection. Even in darkness there can be dance. As you rest tonight, think of their orbit. Picture yourself circling gently with a partner, balanced, steady, never drifting away. The stars move around you, but your connection holds firm. Just as Pluto and Charon move together across billions of miles, you too can find peace in steady companionship, whether with another person, with memory, or with yourself. So let their double dance lull you to sleep. Imagine the stillness of a sky where a partner never leaves, the comfort of motion that never falters. And as you breathe, slowly feel yourself becoming part of their orbit, balanced, calm, secure. Among the moons of Uranus, small and battered Miranda stands out not for size, but for the scars carved into its face. To look at Miranda is to see a world stitched together, as if shattered in the past and then rebuilt in fragments. Its surface is a patchwork of terrains, each one different from the next, to a mosaic of cliffs, ridges, valleys, and plains that seem mismatched, as though they belong to separate worlds fused into one. The most astonishing feature of Miranda is Verona Rupes, the tallest cliff known in the solar system. Imagine standing at its edge. The drop is 12 miles, nearly 4 times deeper than the Grand Canyon. If you were to fall from the top, it would take about 10 minutes to reach the bottom, drifting in slow motion under Miranda's weak gravity. It is a place both breathtaking and terrifying, a monument to cosmic violence that left behind something sublime. Scientists believe Miranda's strange patchwork surface may be the result of catastrophic collisions long ago. Perhaps Miranda was shattered by a massive impact and later reassembled by its own gravity, creating mismatched pieces that never quite fit together. Each region tells a different story. Smooth plains hinting at resurfacing chaotic ridges, crisscrossing at odd angles towering cliffs that dwarf anything on Earth. To gaze upon Miranda is to see survival written in stone. Despite its scars, Miranda is small, only about 300 miles across, no larger than some earthly states. Yet within its tiny frame, It holds features grander than any found on our planet. That contrast is humbling, a world so small, yet carrying landscapes of unimaginable scale. It shows that size does not limit majesty, that even the smallest moons can hold wonders beyond measure. Imagine drifting above Miranda, watching sunlight spill across its fractured surface. Shadows stretch long over valleys, light glimmers on icy ridges, and the horizon feels both close and immense. The silence is profound, but the land tells its story loudly in shapes and scars. You are looking at resilience itself, a body that broke and remade, not once, but perhaps many times. There is something comforting in Miranda's survival. Broken, shattered, scarred, and yet still whole, still orbiting, still present. Just as the moon steadies Earth, Miranda steadies Uranus in its own small way, circling quietly, despite the trauma of its past. It is a reminder that wholeness does not mean perfection. It means carrying your scars and continuing forward. As you breathe tonight, think of Verona Rupes. Imagine standing on its edge, gazing into a canyon so deep that the bottom is lost in haze. And then imagine stepping back, knowing that you do not need to fall, that the depth is only a symbol of the vastness within and around you. Just as Miranda holds cliffs higher than mountains and valleys deeper than imagination, you too carry depths within places of strength, history, and endurance. So let Miranda's cliffs cradle you tonight. Let its patchwork surface remind you that even in brokenness, beauty survives. You are like this moon, small in the vastness of space, yet capable of holding landscapes of wonder within. And in that truth there is peace. When astronauts first set foot on the moon, they left behind more than flags and instruments. They pressed their weight into the soft grey dust, leaving footprints that remain to this day. Unlike Earth, where wind, rain, and rivers erase our marks, the moon has no atmosphere, no weather to sweep away those impressions. The surface is silent, untouched, a canvas of memory that holds onto every step. Those footprints may endure for millions of years, outlasting the people who made them, outlasting even the civilizations that remember them. The dust itself, called regolith, is unlike soil on Earth. It is made of sharp, glassy fragments, ground down by billions of years of meteor impacts. The grains cling stubbornly to anything they touch: spacesuits, instruments, boots, refusing to let go. Astronauts described its smell as like burnt gunpowder, strange and alien, a scent that lingered in their spacecraft after moonwalks. That dust, so harsh and jagged, became the medium for humanity's most delicate imprint, the outline of a human foot in a world without life. To imagine walking there is to imagine stepping into history itself. Each print is not just a mark of weight, but a mark of presence. For all of time before the moon's surface was shaped only by impacts and eruptions. Then suddenly, a new kind of touch arrived, gentle, deliberate, human. It was as though the moon paused to record the moment, keeping it safe in silence. Even now, decades later, the footprints remain. No wind has blown them smooth. No rain has washed them away. They are frozen in time, waiting in the stillness. One day, if explorers return, they may find the same marks unchanged, like echoes of a moment suspended across generations. And long after, when Earth has changed beyond recognition, those prints may still be there, the most enduring monuments to our first steps beyond our home. There is something deeply humbling in this permanence. On Earth, we struggle to make our works last. Buildings crumble, writings fade, even mountains erode. But on the moon, one small step is eternal. A footprint pressed into dust outlives the hand that made it, outlives the world that sent it. It is as if the moon itself agreed to keep our story safe, etched not in stone but in silence. As you rest tonight, picture those footprints under the pale lunar glow. Imagine bending down, brushing your hand lightly over the edges, feeling the crisp outlines still sharp, as if pressed only moments ago. You are touching both history and eternity, a connection across time held in a world that never erases. And then think of your own steps. Every breath, every action leaves a trace, even if unseen. Not all traces endure in dust, but many endure in memory, in influence, in the hearts of others. Just as the moon holds footprints across ages, so too do our lives leave quiet marks on the world. So tonight let those footprints comfort you. Let them remind you that even small steps matter, that every movement carries meaning. You may not see the permanence now, but in the quiet fabric of time, your presence leaves echoes. Like the footprints in lunar dust, your journey endures. At the poles of the moon lie craters so deep, so sharply angled, that sunlight has never reached them. For billions of years, these shadowed basins have remained in permanent darkness. No dawn breaks their horizons, no noon warms their floors. They are pockets of eternal night, colder than Pluto, silent as stone. And within these frozen shadows, something precious hides ice preserved through eons, untouched since the earliest days of the solar system. Water on the moon may sound improbable. Its surface is dry, dusty, and harsh. Yet comets and asteroids rich in ice have struck the moon countless times. In most places, the ice they carried evaporated into space, lost to the vacuum. But in the craters of eternal shadow, where temperatures sink hundreds of degrees below freezing, the ice stayed. Layer upon layer, molecule upon molecule, it accumulated quietly stored in the coldest vaults of the solar system. For scientists, this discovery was revolutionary. When spacecraft peered into those dark craters with radar and spectrometers, they found signs of frozen water hidden in the soil. Not just a trace, but vast reserves enough to fill the dreams of explorers. One day, this ice could become drinking water, oxygen, to breathe even rocket fuel, to carry ships farther into space. What was once thought of as barren wasteland is now seen as a storehouse, a stepping stone for humanity's journey outward. But beyond its utility, the ice holds poetry. It is time itself preserved. Imagine a drop of water, frozen for billions of years, older than mountains, older than life on Earth, still waiting in darkness. To touch it would be to touch history. To taste it would be to sip the memory of the early solar system. There is also beauty in the thought that the moon, our closest neighbor, still has secrets. For centuries, we thought we knew it, a grey face, dry and lifeless. Yet in its hidden craters, mysteries lingered, patient and silent, waiting for us to look closer. The moon reminds us that even the most familiar things hold surprises, if only we are willing to explore the shadows. As you picture those frozen craters tonight, imagine standing at their edge. Behind you, the lunar surface glows bright, with reflected sunlight sharp and pale. But before you lies a pit of pure darkness, colder and deeper than imagination. You cannot see the bottom, only feel its chill. And within that darkness rests ice glittering unseen like treasure hidden in the folds of night. Let the thought soothe you that even in the coldest, darkest places, there is something life-giving. The moon's shadows are not emptiness, but reservoirs, cradles of water that might one day sustain journeys among the stars. And in your own shadows, in the places within you that feel frozen or untouched, there may also be hidden reservoirs waiting to be found, waiting to nourish. So as you breathe, let your mind drift into those craters of silence. Feel the cool calm of their darkness. Imagine the stillness, the untouched piece of ice preserved for ages. You are safe in that quiet, cradled by shadows held by time. In the moon's frozen craters there is no fear, only patience. And as you rest tonight, you too can find comfort in the thought that silence and shadow can be keepers of hidden treasures. When we think of auroras, We picture Earth's skies painted in green and violet light, shimmering curtains that ripple near the poles. But auroras are not unique to our world. Even moons, those quiet companions orbiting planets, can glow with their own crowns of light. In the vastness of space, some moons are bathed in charged particles from their planet's magnetic fields, and in that invisible storm, they shine with colors unseen, ghostly and beautiful. Ganymede the giant among moons is one of the most remarkable examples. With its own magnetic field, the only moon known to carry one, it creates miniature auroras that dance across its poles. Imagine standing there, the icy ground beneath your feet, Jupiter looming immense in the sky, and above you faint waves of light drifting like whispers. The air is thin, the silence deep, but the sky shimmers a reminder that even a moon can wear a crown of fireless flame. Even moons without magnetic fields can glow. Europa, Io, and others cross through Jupiter's immense magnetosphere, where streams of charged particles race outward. As these particles strike their surfaces or thin atmospheres, faint glows are born invisible to our eyes, but caught by spacecraft instruments. It is as if the universe paints with colors beyond human sight, painting moons in hidden hues, a light show for no audience but the stars. There is poetry in these auroras. On Earth, we see them as blessings of the night, fleeting and rare. On moons, they are quieter, still delicate signatures of invisible forces. They tell us that space is not empty but alive with storms of energy. Even in the coldest silence, invisible currents move, shaping worlds, lighting them softly from within. Imagine drifting in orbit above Ganymede or Europa, looking down at their poles. You see faint rings of light, glowing gently, forming arcs and bands across the darkness. They do not roar like volcanoes nor crash like impacts. They simply glow, calm and steady, a reminder that even in the harshest corners of the solar system, beauty lingers. Scientists study these auroras not only for their beauty, but for their secrets. The way the light moves reveals the presence of magnetic fields, the flow of subsurface oceans, the dance of particles through space. Auroras are not just decorations. They are clues, windows into the hidden workings of a world. In their shimmer, we learn of oceans beneath ice of molten cores, deep inside of energy flowing unseen. And yet, you do not need to be a scientist to feel their wonder. Close your eyes tonight and imagine yourself standing on a moon far from Earth. Above you, faint curtains of light ripple slowly, too soft for human eyes, but present all the same. You are wrapped in silence, but the silence glows. You are alone, but not lonely, for the sky itself keeps you company. Auroras on moons remind us that light finds its way even in the darkest places. They are gentle crowns worn not by kings or planets, but by small companions, quiet wanderers who circle their giants. They whisper that beauty does not demand attention. It can glow softly unseen and still be real. So let yourself drift tonight with those auroras. Picture them shimmering at the edge of vision waves, of invisible light brushing across icy ground. Let their calm rhythm match your breath, rising, falling, glowing, fading. You are like those moons, quiet, steady, circled by forces larger than yourself, and yet glowing softly all the same. In the dazzling rings of Saturn, where countless icy fragments circle in endless streams, something remarkable is happening even now. Among the ripples and gaps, some of those fragments are slowly gathering, clumping together, pulled into shape by gravity. Here in the shimmering bands that crown a giant planet, moons are being born. Not ancient relics, not fossils of creation long past, but newborn companions still in the process of becoming. Astronomers have spotted tiny moonlets forming at the edges of Saturn's rings. They are small, fragile, only a few miles across, but they represent the first steps of a moon's life. Imagine watching as ice particles collide softly, sticking together, gathering more and more with each orbit. Slowly, What was once only dust and shards grows into something new, a body that can carve its own path, shaping the ring around it as it matures. It is a delicate process. Saturn's gravity constantly pulls at the rings, keeping them flat and spread thin. Yet within that vast system balance allows growth. Some clumps scatter apart again, lost to the pull of the planet. Others endure, adding layer after layer until they become permanent. Pan, a tiny moon shaped like a flying saucer, may have been born this way, sculpted from ring material and now carving a gap of its own. To imagine a moon forming is to imagine creation in real time. Most moons in our solar system are billions of years old, their stories written in ancient scars. But here around Saturn, the story is still being written. It is like watching stars being born in a nebula, but on a smaller, quieter scale. A moon emerges from the dance of particles, a reminder that the universe never stops creating. The sight is not only scientific, it is deeply soothing. Picture Saturn's rings as a vast river of light, each particle glinting like ice in the sunday. Within that river, small eddies swirl, collecting fragments into tiny seeds. And from those seeds, moons are born. It is the gentlest form of creation. No fire, no violence, just patience, gravity, and time. For future explorers, these newborn moons will be treasures to study. They may teach us how Earth's own moon began, how planets gathered their companions, how chaos turned into order. But for us tonight, they are reminders of renewal. Even in places that seem finished, creation continues. Even in the cold and distant reaches, new stories begin. As you rest, think of those tiny moonlets drifting in Saturn's rings. They do not rush, they do not force their growth. They simply gather little by little until they become whole. Let that thought soothe you, that becoming does not need to be hurried. Growth is patient. Creation is quiet. Close your eyes and imagine floating within the rings, surrounded by glittering ice, each fragment reflecting starlight. Around you, clusters form particles gathering into something new. You are part of that process, drifting, forming, becoming. And as the rings circle endlessly, you too are carried forward, cradled in the rhythm of creation. Saturn's newborn moons remind us that the universe is alive, always in motion, always making, always renewing. They whisper that nothing is final, that beginnings are possible even in the most unlikely places. And as you drift to sleep, let that whisper carry you soft, patient, full of promise. Through all these journeys among the moons, through drifting ice worlds, fiery volcanoes, hidden oceans and cliffs that defy imagination, one truth remains: moons are companions. They are the quiet partners of planets, circling faithfully, shaping their worlds in ways both subtle and profound. Every planet, from tiny Mars to massive Jupiter, is made different by the moons that surround it. And together they remind us that isolation is rare in the cosmos. Almost every world travels with company. Earth's own moon has taught us this lesson most intimately. It steadies our tilt, lengthens our days, raises our tides, and guards us from impacts. Without it, Earth might have been too unstable for life to flourish. Yet our moon is not unique in its influence. Europa holds an ocean beneath its ice that may one day reveal life. Titan mirrors Earth with rivers and seas, though made of methane instead of water. Enceladus sprays fountains into space, shimmering signs of hidden energy. Io burns with restless fire, while Ganymede, larger than Mercury, carries the strength of a planet. Even the smallest potato-shaped companions, like Phobos and Pan, show us that every moon has a role to play, every fragment of rock or ice a part of a greater story. To wander among moons is to see the universe not as a collection of lonely planets, but as families of companions, each system alive with relationships. Moons target rings, stir oceans, create auroras, and even change the very length of their planets' days. They are sculptors, guardians, rebels, and dancers, moving in rhythms that stretch across billions of years. Without them, the solar system would be colder, emptier, less alive. Imagine drifting now through that quiet company. Around you, moons of every size and shape circle their planets, each one glowing softly in starlight. Some are giants, others are fragments. Some shine bright as pearls, others dark as coal. Yet all of them move in harmony, bound by invisible threads of gravity. Their orbits weave a cosmic dance, patient and eternal. There is something deeply comforting in their presence. Moons do not rush, they do not demand attention. They simply follow their paths, circling steadily, influencing quietly, holding their places through eons of time. They remind us that companionship can be silent, that presence itself can be enough. Just as planets are rarely alone, we too are rarely as solitary as we think. Companionship can be subtle, but it is always there, whether in the form of people memories or the steady rhythm of the universe itself. As you breathe tonight, let your thoughts circle gently like moons around a planet. Picture yourself drifting in an orbit of your own steady calm, embraced by unseen forces that hold you safe. You do not need to strive or struggle. You are carried, guided, kept in rhythm. The universe is full of companions, and you are among them, never alone. And so our journey among the moons draws to a close. From Earth's guardian to Saturn's newborns, from volcanic Io to frozen Triton, we have wandered through worlds both familiar and alien. Each one tells us something about creation, survival, and change. Each one whispers that beauty is everywhere, even in the quietest companions. Let that whisper be your lullaby tonight. As you close your eyes, let yourself drift like a moon in orbit, circling gently, glowing, softly, timeless, and at peace. There is no need to hold on to every detail now, only the feeling of vastness, of quiet, of being carried by forces older than memory. Moons have kept watch for billions of years. Tonight, let them watch over you.